I can relate because I never quite established a high school that I had a group of friends, and we all went to prom, and I was on the sports team. It was never really like that. It was very transient, and it was like you know I would go from I went to 3 different high schools, so I never quite felt like without sounding sappy, I never quite felt like I fit in anywhere. So I think it helps when Stefan goes to this new school I can sort of understand. I honestly, when I was younger, I was a bit of a troublemaker. I totally admit it. Some of the first school I went to, it was an all boys, private, Christian. You had to wear a uniform, and that just wasn't for me. And it's not that I was even a troublemaker there. It was more like I just didn't fit in, and it was just so obvious. And it was all jocks and whatever, and I just. I don't think the teachers liked me. I don't think the students liked me, and I think they wanted any excuse to get me out. So that's that one. And then I went to this public high school, and then I just again it was just I was a bit ostracized by everyone because I was a new guy, and then it was just I had actually started acting professionally at that point. And I had joined this TV series, this soap opera in the city in Manhattan. I was going to school in Jersey, and so I started not going to class. I was still getting good grades, but so they were kicked me out because I wasn't showing up to class. And then I went to this prep school and with 11 people in my graduating class, and they were actually really nice. And I ended up getting my high school diploma, but it was a process. If I took it off right now, I would disappear and vanish into thin air. No, I mean the basically what it is that we go against the typical vampire mythology in that we're given these rings when we're turned into vampire. I say we as me and Damon, and it allows us to go in the sunlight. And without this, we'd have to be nocturnal. We'd have to only come out at night. So it's nice because we get to shoot daytime scenes. It's not just stuck in in a dark room or at night. And it's a great part of the story because it makes Vampire Diaries a little more original, its own concept than your typical vampire story. So we just shot a scene where Nina, who plays Elena, I guess innocently grabbed, my hand and just wanted to look at the ring, and it was just immediately made a fist because, the minute she could just, let me see it, and pull it off. Not that it's easy to get off, but we were washing cars, so there was soap in my hands. Could have slipped off easily, and poof, Stefan's gone. It's actually. We were laughing about how that could be a really funny moment, in a spoof reel, a Monty Python moment where they pull it out and all of a sudden I just, Stefan? He's like, I think we will, and we have. And, it just so happens that Stefan chose one lifestyle and Damon chose another, but now they're after the same thing. They want the same girl. And so I think, I had mentioned this earlier to you, I think that in order for Stefan to protect Elena from Damon, he needs to feed on human blood, and because otherwise he's not as powerful. And so he's the threat is imminent, and he'll do it. And I think that's certainly him exploring his dark side. And I also think that Damon, Ian, he's not all bad. I mean, he is bad, but he has charm, and I think Elena, there's a part of her that's intrigued by him, and so. That might drive Stefan to a different place. It's almost like they might flip-flop for a second. I don't know. I'm sort of speculating, but I think it'd be pretty interesting. I mean, now that we're doing this show, and it's constantly here on set filming, so I don't have time to do anything. But when I'm not shooting, rare occasions, I love to travel and try to go to New York as much as possible. It's my favorite city, and I try to even in this area, take my car out and try to explore different areas, and I really enjoy that aspect of being on location, is finding different new areas and meeting new people. So I really like that. That's a hobby of mine, I suppose. But I also write, and I love winter sports, which is unfortunate because there's no mountains here for me. It's like pretty flat, so that's going to be a change. We're trying to find a nickname for me on set because we have a guy in sound named Paul, and our director of photography is Paul. So everyone's constantly yelling Paul, and I'm always yelling what? And I'm looking around, and they're trying to come up with a nickname for me, but no luck. So if you could think of something, or if somebody can think of something, please let me know.